evening, sim racing fans. The LSRTV for race 3 of 4 on the iRoc 3 Championship, the iSuperspeedway.com racing. LSRTV at Evan Pasoko, Andy Kessler, and Jared Haggerty along for the ride with you guys past the halfway point.
A much different story than what we had a couple weeks ago when we were at the Spippy as heck. These guys put on a great show, though. We saw that outside lane prevail. All these champions will definitely put on a great show for us.
It's going to be Frank Basile the pole for tonight's event, and Greg Cooks will start shotgun in P2. Take the win this one.
It's going to pretty much take.
In the iSuper Chase grid for season 5, but now 2 on our doubleheader for first car to the start finish line. Greg Hooks, bottom lane though, still held by that number 1, and problems it looks like topside for the 3 of Greg Hooks. He's having some connection problems.
Lane, guy's a little scary to get up to his bumper at the moment. That's going to give that bottom side the place. I battle for that second spot. You got the 9 of Brandon Chaburko on the bottom side, while Greg all right now, but that's it. 2 cars on the top side. It's not going to be able to get it done here off of turn 4.
Comes Jason Altman's on the outside. He's got a bunch of help from Brandon Chaburko.
By Assad in front of him, he falls now to
right now, unfortunately, are going to need. We've seen it with these iRoc fields. The cautions don't typically happen, so it might be a problem for those guys currently here. We'll have to see how things shake out. Double the 5 car gets into the. It's going to put him around a huge wreck, a 3-car wreck there in turn number 1.
And it started 3 wide, Jared, down to top side, and at 3 up and over into the catch.
But I've actually seen a lot of drivers have to do in the last few weeks here in order to get exactly what Donnie did. As we was a 3-car incident.
An early caution flag here tonight at the Talladega Super. We'll take this quick opportunity, step away. We'll be back from Talladega for the restart. You're Racing Live.
Did you know the lion's sense of vision is so powerful, it the offspring of others, while their parents are elsewhere in the wild, making the wild kingdom look much better indeed. Do
Talladega Super Speedway. Comes to the top position at 8 laps to make it to top off and
of being gets them back to the front rather quickly at Talladega. Push up the racetrack
with such a stuck in the bottom, it helps you to somebody.
Very special where in the racetrack.
On row number 2 will be Frank Busili at number 1, Brandon Chaburko in 5th at the moment. Let's take a look and talk about the iRoc Championship standings at this point through 2 of the 4 races in this iRoc 3 installment. The third time the iSuperspeedway Race of Champions has gone on. We've done 2 races at Daytona so far, tonight at Talladega, and then we go racing in January under the lights in Daytona Beach to crown a champion. The state's the iRoc points. He's back in 8th on track. The drivers chasing him. Rod Flag in 2nd by 6 points away. Josh Ball in 3rd, 7 points back. Rodney Wofford is 4th, 8 points back. Tied for 5th is Donnie Giratano and Joshua Hanner. Both of those guys 9 points back at this. And even this series, the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series, the chase going to be tight. 4 races. That's not a whole lot of time to be able to make up mistakes.
No, 1 or 2 mistakes, and you pretty much count your chances out here. 4 races, not much time to get anything done. Obviously, all those guys 9 points back, 10 points back, all the way down to the 7th spot there. Those guys still have a chance. Anything can happen, and we'll get set to do it again here right now.
Pace car drops to the bottom. We get set to go back green. Caution flag early. We'll get the first American Ethanol restart on the evening through the tri-oval into the American Ethanol go zone. Green flag flies back and away from Talladega. 30 laps to go in iRoc race number 3. Topside with a good run down to turn number 1. It's the 13 Ray Rittenauer beating the car on the inside of the start-finish line. Second time tonight we've seen that, but the leader does not get it to the stripe first. Bottom side, though, picks up the slack in the middle of 1 and 2, and now good by 2.5 car lengths down the back to the 10 and the 7.
Yeah, right now you see Brandon Chaburko trying to make it 3 wide as he's trying to push for that 2nd spot right now. He's going to get him clear on the outside right there by Ray Rittenauer, just by a little bit here. So Chaburko, he wants to lead that outside line. We see him week after week. He loves that outside lane, tries to make things happen on the side draft, close through the corner out here. Side draft pass a bunch of cars, almost single also. So outside package. Now pushing to the outside. We're 3.
The number 2, and he is from 1 lap.
Rod flag side charge. This is the 3 other on board. Season 1 ice. It's about 5v4.
Way through there. Him 2 races. He pretty have top side though fallen for number 1.
Here, Wofford, he wins this year.
Panahan, Busilia, Chaburko, the other 2 drivers on the lead lap. They run a little bit further back, but all 9 cars still left. Josh Ball is still out there, but the number 5 is 2 laps without the, with the lack of quick fixes, Andy, in this series now makes it difficult, and that also can affect the way a driver takes the. So the incident we saw happen is when they forced it 3 wide. These COTs are pretty wide if you compare them directly. So now 3 laps down for Josh Ball, but I don't think we're going to see many. So you got to stay in the game to be there at the end.
Moves, plenty of time left to go in this race here. There's no point in forcing the issue. This first caution, forcing it 3 wide early in the going here. But that one of Frank Busilia and definitely start 3rd lane now on the outside of Rod Flag. Rod Flag now going to drop to that bottom side. So those guys have caught back up to the pack, out back there, as now it looks like Jamerko's going to go to the inside of Basilia. He wants that bottom side. It looks like
those guys on the outside, they're going to have a hard time getting up there to the front. They are going to have any shot at getting past Rodney Wofford here. I mean, and I'm fully surprised that the number 7, Jason Altman, Rodney Wofford, is the 10 going to go with him? Yes, he is. Josh Hanner follows Jason Altman, and he is actually going to have help now from the number 13 of Ray Rittenauer as they come out of 4.
And now the top side with more cars. So there's 6 drivers on the outside. 2 of them will break away, and the move works. Wofford, P4 at the start-finish line. The 14 of Chris Bassini challenging topside that owes for third at the moment. 3 wide behind them as Brandon Jamerko backs it off a little. Not normally a huge fan of guys waiting back, and I'll tell you what, the 10 of Josh Hanner isn't either, Andy. Back to the bottom. Like the 7 owed him something, so he went to the inside past him, and now it's Josh Hanner leading. Wofford jumps to the outside position in just 1 lap, and Hanner might be outside of the top 3 or 4 by the time he gets to the start-finish line. Guys that can pull off waiting back and being patient, it's 2 series champions, and that's Basili and Jamerko.
Again, to work with each other, staying behind these guys, not forcing the issue down the back straightaway. Now here goes Hanner now to the outside. That's one guy. Oh, Altman tried to go all the way for now blocking him, so still going to maintain two lines. But we talk about Josh, whether it's been in iRoc or in the Ice Super Speedway Series, has been victory lane. So you know he's definitely be up there at the end for a chance to win this thing. He's been running well enough to get the victories this season. Just that victory lane about it later in our second half of the doubleheader. You know, he almost took valuable track time here and running up front now as he drops back down in front of Wofford. He's going.
But unfortunately, that was going on there. He had actually run into the back of Rodney. Oh, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to lead a pack now, even if he goes to the outside. If he tries to contact Jason Altman's, he saves it. The 12 was sideways through the triangle. Rodney Wofford with a great save. I don't care how torn up this car is on the front. And then the 11 got really tight going out. We're going 3 wide now. And this is just getting crazy as they're coming down here.
That 7's tried to sneak to the inside on somebody. It didn't work that last. Okay, the concern would be for me and that number 7 of Jason Altman's is just going to have to work around that. The 5 stays up against the fence, no problem doing so, Andy. Is if you're that 7 and obviously it's not a down situation you can find yourself in, so it is difficult to lead a line or lead a group. But if you're leading, your car can probably stick with it, but engine temp's going to go up, and a lot of the time, and sometimes it's unpredictable, on the sim, engine issues very quickly.
Yeah, and I think that's why you see the 7 actually. He's ducking here as of late the last couple laps, probably trying to get some fresh air to that nose. Altman's definitely, you know, with some help, he's definitely not going to be able to lead a pack and be able to gain time on anybody doing so. So he's looking right now to the inside of the 11.
Third time tonight.
Yeah, that's the 3rd time tonight. Second. So, it looks like the 13 right there, Ray Rittenauer, got into the wall in turn number 3. Tires wear out. It's definitely starting to show up here.
Yeah, the 13, it just went straight up. Ray Rittenauer, he's actually keeping up with them, and it was just barely a graze. But right now, he's really in the next lap or 2. But right now, with these guys coming on the outside, you've got Brandon Jamerko coming with a big head of steam here. And here comes the sleep as Jason Altman wants the lead, going down into 3.
And that 7 trying to get it. Gonna lose some speed. That hurts the 7. It is a game of 200 mile an hour full contact chest. About Ray Rittenauer. The problem for the 13, no damage. I mean, just barely caught the fence. Big thing that hurts him as he checked up the seconds off for the race leaders. Side by side for 2nd, and now side by side for 3rd. The 12 jumps up too. Seth the Merchant. Watch out, Andy, because as soon as the 11 did that, I knew exactly. I've seen Seth the Merchant do this in this series and in the iSuperspeedway.com racing series, and that is jump to the leaders outside, and as Chris Massini sideways, he's locked into Josh Hanner. He'll finally get spun down on the apron. Point, heavy damage on Ray Rittenauer. I think we stay green as it's a 2-car breakaway with Seth the Merchant in second, Andy, but the Merchant, he likes to be and not the prey because he'll fake you out, and when you go to block him, he'll dive right down to the inside. He's known for that.
Yeah, he has. Christian Peterson, who they work real well together, and you'll see that later on tonight. But a replay going up of that incident there off of said that spread this field wide open to say right now Wofford and the Merchant here scores over. They got a pretty significant lead right now, almost 3/4 of a second. The good thing though, behind so they're not all by themselves, and it actually looks like they're starting to gain a little bit of time here as they come off. You can see these cars definitely pushing. Typically you like to package in these tires the way they're wearing out. Now Jason Altman's, Brandon Chaburko, they're back in, and now we got a
seems like it's going to be that 4-car battle. Who's going to be able to go to the outside at the right time? Outside, and that's what I said they were going to do earlier. They're going to have to swing that car to the outside. Just to the outside now. Brandon Chaburko and Jason coming right now with Seth the Merchant in tow.
And now from the pack racing that we were just complimenting to tandem racing, because with 4 drivers up here, moment it's Altman and Chaburko, that second group of cars, 3 and 4, all part though of the lead lap. Behind them, number 1 of Frank Wasilli at a rod flag, 5 and 6, the number 1 and the 8. They're 5 seconds back from the race leaders. If something, Josh Hanner is on the lead lap. He's damaged. He's almost getting. So those guys want to see a caution also to get back in this fight. It's the 7 who goes topside now in 3 and 4. Down and Lewis, he stays up and out of the way. Top 4 cars, though, single file for the moment. It's a lot harder to build up a big when you're talking just 2 cars in front of you to draft off of.
Yeah, and you can see that 7 of Jason Altman's really getting a good run. Keep the 9 on his back bumper right now, so those guys are going to have to figure something out here in the next year. Altman's doing a great job, able to hang on with the draft, but you can see him go out to the outside. He starts to lose the damage. And a great run here off of. Not really be able to do anything before that. You can see right there again on the front straightaway, moves to the outside, and even with the help of Chaburko, he still loses ground.
Right now is they're doing different lines right now. You see when he goes to the inside how much speed he's Chaburko's actually laying off a 7 just a little bit. As you see right there, has not laid off the 12 at all. So it might be a strategy here of Brandon Chaburko to keep that engine cool and be able to draft there at the closing laps, because I mean if the 11 and the 12 don't keep that engine cool, I mean just look how fast he just picked back there. They're honestly training themselves to make a final run here at the very end.
Yeah, and if that was the last lap right there, you can see exactly what happened. Chaburko gave him that push, but then Aldrich jumps down to the bottom, takes over the race now. So that's going to split those 2 guys up. We'll have to see what Chaburko can do here as he's going to now look to the bottom side. Here goes Wofford now to the outside.
Oh, he cut him! There goes the 7. Altman spin down to the grass. The 11 is Seth the Merchant, set him in. 11 car. As Jason Altman spins onto the apron of the racetrack as he comes, caution flag is out. This will be fun to look at this one. We knew that the blocking was going to happen. 7, I mean, if you see that 11 machine coming in, we were talking about how Seth the Merchant has done this so often. 12 goes topside, and the 7 of Altman's is too busy looking at Rodney Wofford that when he wants to block the 11, reacts too late on that block, and instead of shutting the door, it is legitimately. And what happens is it hits the 11 of DeMerchant, and then I don't even think it's really Seth DeMerchant coming up to take him out. It's the fact that that car knocked sideways because Seth turned to the left, trying to get it off because that car was sliding up to the right with the back end not stable.
Yeah, you can see they first made contact, and then he got onto the apron, and but
it can be.
It could be. It is tonight, all right? But, yeah, so he gets a little loose. His car's out of shape. Even though Seth DeMerchant was having the car, going back and forth, he's there sawing on the wheel just trying to keep that, and ended up making contact with the 7. Interesting. Personally think with the tires worn like they are, staying out like he did, might have a small advantage here in the late going.
Oh god, that is probably gonna be the race there for Rodney Wofford. I mean, he is, as they go, he's run about almost 25 laps on those tires. That doesn't seem like a lot, especially at a place here like Talladega, but what happens to these cars, especially on these long runs, we've seen time and time again those cars starting to push up. Rodney Wofford, in my opinion, he is going to be done, and I mean, these guys behind him are just...
That because he's been in clean air, Andy, he hasn't been having to jump to the outside and swing into the corner like everybody else. By the way, this caution is no longer going to make it a 4-car battle for the win. We'll go back green one final time. It'll be 8 cars. Any logical scenario. Doesn't matter how good you are. Doesn't matter the name on the back of the car in this series. The fact that you're not going to lead every one lap shootout. You're probably not going to be in front for that entire lap. There is going to be a point where Wofford is not the leading car. That's where those tires in that.
Something though, we've seen this guy time and time again. With the amount of wins that just happened, but you talk about the one guy I think right now, the way his season's been going and the way he's racing these plate tracks, would be the 12 of Wofford. So it's going to be fun to see. I really think he's at a disadvantage here. I don't think it really would have hurt one of those circumstances that if he was the only one to pit, that he wouldn't have a chance. There's only, like we said, 8 cars on the lead. He started at 8th. If he was the only one that came in, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. So I'm not too sure why he didn't come down pit road, but we'll see.
Fortunately, as we all know, if the caution comes out here, the way these guys have been blocking, I'm not going to be surprised if we get a caution before we get out of 1.
Lights on the pace car. This next time around and take 3 laps to go if the lights go off at that point. It'll be an unofficial green-white checker. I say a green and white and a checker follow through. No overtime, though. Wofford in front. He would not object, I'm sure, to take just 1 race to go back on the 6th, winning the last iRoc race at Daytona circa 2007. Earlier in the year for the first race at Daytona. Rod Flag is your old-time iRoc race wins leader with Tanner. Greg Hooks tied for 2nd on that list with 2 wins, and then Seth DeMerchant, Mark Jorgensen Jr., and Rodney Wofford with 1 win apiece. So the 12 of Wofford trying to bump up a little bit. Chiburko in the same boat, except for everything you can on Friday night. Sandy does not have an iRoc win.
That's almost hard to believe.
I can't confirm it, but that's what my numbers are telling me.
Yeah, listen, sometimes the numbers don't lie, but you got to figure this is the 3rd. I would imagine, obviously for a guy of his talent at a super speedway like this to not have a win, especially against. But yeah, it is definitely an interesting stat to keep note of. But he's got a good opportunity here being on the outside. If he can get a good Rod Flag giving him a good push, he might be able to clear that 12 going into turn number 1, and that could be what he needs to get himself into. Probably one of the best at blocking also. So this should be a start and finish to this race right here.
And Jared, I think that speaks volume to what this series is, because anywhere else we talk about a plate track and it's a wild, because this is all we run, we kind of forget about the fact that there's so many factors working against you to win. A guy like Brandon Chiburko, there are so many ways that you can lose these Talladega races that sometimes we just start to look at them like track, anything can happen.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm fully expecting Brandon to get at least try to get a jump keep in mind that Rodney coming out of 2 and 4, he's going to be drifting up just a little bit, so he's got to watch out for that. But right now, a bunch of help there from the 8 of Red Flag there, and I mean, I'm really excited to see how this one's going to pan out. Evan.
How bad do you want it? What are you willing to give up for it? The pace car makes the sharp left-hand turn down to the safety of pit road. Jaburko on Watford. He brings up the inside. American Ethanol, green flag flies. 2 laps to go at Talladega. And at the start-finish line, 3 for 3 on the night. That the lead car has not been the first to the start-finish line, but the inside is where it is to be. No help from the 7 of Jason Altmans, who's damaged. Chaburko gets left now as Flag abandons him.
Drop to the inside. He's a guy looking for another win to add to his total here in the iRoc series. Drops to the inside. Chaburko, though, like we talked about earlier, his size right now that he's not dropping back as fast as normal. I guess not normal people, but so going to jump out and try to give him some help here. Here comes the 1 now, going to try to make it for a battle for the lead to the line here. So white flag is out in Wofford.
Got really tight there coming out of the corner.
Brasilia's got to block the lane. Chaburko top side. He's going to get contact with the 12 of Wofford. There goes the 12. The handling's gone. He's up into the fence. Contact for a second. Chaburko moved up out of the way by Rod Flag, and Flag not enough. Shuts the door for third. He'll almost spin out of the trial, but Frank Brasilia, that car is wide enough. You can put it in the bank. Check Frank at Talladega, and he as well, with his first career race of champion. Jason Altmans comes home third, wrecking across the start-finish line. Chaburko P4 after those guys took him, but Frank Brasilia got the spot, and the big thing there was Chaburko didn't have any help, so they got preoccupied fighting for second to keep the left side tires on the yellow line, and there wasn't a whole lot that Ada Rod Flag could have done differently.
No, there was up there when Wofford slipped up in 3 and 4. It kind of broke the momentum of a lot of these guys, and there was just too much space. What enabled Frank to hang on to it. So a good win for him. Congratulations to him on his first ever iRoc win.
And you see the replay going up there for the last half lap, and man, what a power move by Frank Brasilia. He took it into the outside retaining wall, but that just goes to show you how these cars react to the draft. It's a lot different than the Gen 6s, but I mean, that was a really and I'm glad we didn't do our picks there for the end, because I would have lost in that bit.
Well, we 4 laps down to 9th, so we'll make sure to mention that to him later. But Frank Brasilia, just like Brandon Chaburko, he's a winner in the iRoc series and takes home the 3rd checkered flag of iRoc 3. We'll step away for a Racing TV for the post-race wrap-up from Talladega, and then we'll get you set up for the final race of the regular season and determine the chase later on tonight as we go racing with the iSuperspeedway.com racing series. So much still to come on LSRTV and iRacing Live, the iRoc.
Domino taking driver applications for our $2,500 purse inaugural season going green January 2016. At Domino's TYJ, not gift cards or die casts, cold, hard cash. You get paid for finishing 1st through 20th in our championship and 1st through. You're going to like the way you look. All the way to the bank. I guarantee it. Bucks, drivers carry less than $20. Report unsafe driving to local authorities. Apply today at Domino'sTYJRacing.com to see if you qualify for our league. And join our preseason Thunder tryout races Saturday nights at 8 p.m. through the end of 2015 to see if you have what it takes to make the cut and some cash.
We're back live at the Talladega Super Speedway. You're tuned into LSRTV's coverage of the Ice Super Speedway Race of Champions in the books, and just with one to go, things are going to be a lot more close up at the top of the championship standings. But first, it was Frank Lucilia with the third, Jason Altman's Brandon Chiburko swapping paint and a little bit more across the start-finish line. But the 7 and down on the pit lane, Jared, you've caught up with him.
Yeah, I've caught up with Jason Altmans, and Jason, man, that was a run for third there. You how crazy it was, and were the cars handling right tonight? Because it seemed like you were having there.
No, I think that's a fun setup for that car where you can make runs by yourself, and it took a little while. It took about 20 laps, and I figured out once it got really tight, you could get on the corner, and they'd get so tight that you could just breeze on by them just by yourself. So the last lap, I don't know what happened. I think the wheel just stuck left, just kind of stuck right, and we just leaned on each other for a little bit. We really wanted to be interviewed, so we were fighting over it pretty hard.
Well, but looking ahead now, you got one more race to go. You're 5 points back out in fourth. What are your chances going into the final race here for iRoc?
Any of the points for iRoc. I just go into it and I know I can kind of have fun with it. And I made some pretty stupid moves tonight that were some stuff that I normally wouldn't do. I try to be a little bit more conservative, and it's not a normal race, like a cup race or whatever. But no, it was fun. I blocked him pretty hard, even though we're not supposed to do that. Blocked him pretty hard, and I guess I paid for it because he came back into me and I spun. So it's just hard racing. I apologize. I kind of felt bad for him, and he felt bad too. It just good solid racing. I just went on.
Well, regardless, you were gonna come home with a third place finish and championship. Is there anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
Yes. First iRoc win for him, so I know it was a big deal to him. So that big thanks to LSRTV and my wife for allowing me to have steering wheel on the desk. That's all I got.
Of the number 8 Rod Flag. Rod, man, that was an exciting little race there. Found yourself there late in the going, kind of with another caution there and another chance to get back up. But a second place finish, you got to be pretty excited about that.
Yeah, good night. Good finish, anyways, to the race. See what happened there, but the 11 car Seth had some trouble, so that actually was advantageous. Move up and tie the points. So it's gonna be just like last season. I know Mark and I last season finished in front of each other, won the championship, and so it's gonna be another scenario like that. But looks like we have a couple guys right behind us too that should be a real fun iRoc finale there at Daytona in a handful of weeks.
When it comes down to it, it's all or nothing in that final race, and obviously with 4 races in this times than not, it's set itself up now, like you said, for a great final race in this series. Said Rodney Wofford and Jason Altman's both just 5 points back, so 4 guys probably about winning this thing come the final race. And as obviously a driver in the series and when it all works out like that, it's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah, I mean, you want drama. You want. There's going to be a lot of people logistically into the championship at this point. So something stupid there in the finale, but we'll it's going to be fun. Being a part of it, and hopefully we'll make it 2 in a row for the iRoc championship goes. But trying to have a good run tonight there as we got a win in the 26 car tonight. So if you want to have any hope to salvage this spot with a bang.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Pressure's on now as we talk about in our second race here in the doubleheader here tonight on Friday night. Going on, obviously, win in your end. That's what you guys are focused on here later on in just a little bit. So with that said, though, second place finish.
I just want to thank again the group of iRoc drivers for tonight, putting on a great race, and appreciate everything LSRTV does. And thank you for the interview there, Andy.
You have it. There's your second place finisher, Rod Flag, tied another iRoc championship. Evan, though, has caught up with tonight's winner, his first iRoc Series win.
On the iRoc 3 campaign, and it is his first checkered flag in the Ice Super Speedway Race of Champions Series. From the Super Speedway, Frank, first, congratulations to you. Started on pole, but with the setup on these cars, you didn't just to win it. However, you did use that strategy to hold off Rod Flag at the end. Talk us through that one.
I mean, that was a blast. These I've been able to make, so I've had some other stuff come up in the other races, but everybody was they were going to be important. Turned out to be probably what won us the race at the end. And those cars are so forgiving. You can beat and bang, rub up against each other. That race is the best of the best. I thought, just pedal to the floorboard, and we came in with the win.
Maybe a good stress reliever for some of the 5 minutes here for a lot of guys. For you, though, you're not having to worry about that because you'll be competing for a iSuperspeedway.com. Tonight, we go to the regular season in that. But for this iRoc title, again, your first start on the season, so not in a points relative for that. But we were also talking about Brandon Chaburko and you guys, 2 champions in this series as a whole, yet to win one of these races. And, I mean, you mentioned it. It's the best of the best by far. What does it...
Oh, it's hugely important. I think I talked to Josh Ball, this was months ago, and he championship. He's like, what else is there to win? I was like, well, you got to mark off a main, an endurance race, a championship. I didn't have one of those iRoc races, so that was a pretty big void left in items that I really wanted to win. So it's
.com Draft Heart 300, and as we into the chase grid with a trip to victory lane, what are you going to be doing when we get back on track here with the Gen 6 cars for 100 tonight?
Well, nothing to lose and everything to gain. We're already locked in the show, so we're gonna. There'll be some strategy along the way, especially if it's going to be like last week, where cars got really tight. Tires are going to come into play. Nothing to lose. It's our last stress-free evening going into the chase. I wouldn't mind another win to pad the first round stuff either. So that's where we're going.
Wish you the best of luck when you get on track. Anybody you want to thank, though, when we got you down here in victory lane?
Sure. First off, I would like to thank my wife for letting me run these things on Friday nights. She started a little ritual tonight. I'm not going to get into the super details. We got the win the first time, so we might have to continue this thing. But I want to thank her, my family, friends, with Chaburko at the end, Jason, all those guys that were in that room are the best. And we raced it out. It was a fun night. Y'all do a great job, Rod Flag, for putting this stuff on, and we'll go get them in a few minutes.
Well, we thank you for sticking around and chatting with us, Frank. We thank you for important details, and we wish you the best of luck. We'll see you in a little bit.
Thank you, Evan. Appreciate it.
So Frank Basilia, now a winner in the iSuper Speed. Most importantly, though, let's take a look at the championship standings, guys, and talk about this. 1 race left on this season. It's going to become January. So almost 2 months to sit and wait. And, we talk about the main series. We talk about the trucks. This one off. When you're good, it's something that's missing. He's checked that off. We're looking, though, to crown a new champion. Greg Hook's the inaugural iRoc. We're by 3 points in the first season, by 4 points in the second season. Andy Kessler could be better this year because tied with 28 points apiece. There's a tie for second, 5 points back for Wofford and Jason Altmans. And then Chaburko, Josh Ball, and points back. It'll be tight going into Daytona for the finale for sure.
Yeah, and you can't count out fifth, sixth, and seventh place. Field's a lot smaller. 12, 13 cars is all we're going to get in this. So, 8 points is definitely not out of the picture. It's definitely going to be a lot tougher. A really solid 4-way battle here going into the final week, and that's what it's all about. Put somebody. We see it in other leagues, like on our. We'll see it tomorrow night on our broadcast there, Evan. When you got a full race. Not saying it takes out of the fun because you're still obviously going for race wins and putting it all out there each and every time you're on the track. But when you got the one little tiny slip up like we saw early in the race, lap number 4, when a series champion and they got into a wreck early, and he had a horrible night and kind of almost put him out of contention for this championship. So anything can happen in these races, and you see him make a mistake because all that pressure, and sometimes you see guys rise to the occasion and really come from nowhere. So it's going to be fun to watch next months away. We'll almost forget about it, and then all of a sudden it'll be here. So, but it'll be exciting to see, and you know these guys are looking forward to it.
Official, the drivers that will compete for an iSuper Speedway Championship later on. Forward to that one, Talladega right here. Cup cars, though, 113 laps. What's going to be the big difference in that race from what we saw just now?
It's going to be a will of surviving and just managing the. And I mean, it's a tough track. It's Talladega has been one of my best tracks, but these other guys are all looking for that win too, and you got these other guys who need a win to get in the chase. So a lot more aggressive tonight, but with the quick fix gone from the series, it might turn out to be only about maybe 5 to 6 cars. Be pretty interesting, Evan.
Survival of the fittest with everything on the line. That's what's coming up for the doubleheader. Again, if you're tuned in on iRacing Live, top of the hour at 10 o'clock Eastern, it is the Draft Heart 300 for the iSuper. And after that, we'll know who will race for a championship. You win and you're in. There's a couple of spots left on points. You're not going to track cleaned off, and we'll be back here in just a few. So with that, on behalf of everybody at LSRTV and for Jared Haggerty, Andy Kessler, Laura Lawson, thank you for tuning in. Congrats to Frank Basilia, a winner in iRoc. Main event, the Draft Heart 300 in a few on LSRTV.